Welcome back, everyone, to part 2. It should be obvious at this point why I said this was the worst idea that I've ever had, and it is because, of course, it takes quite a bit of time for me to go from one part to the other. I can't record these one after the other. I'm not a Let's Player. I'm not an animator either, but I call myself an animator for the purposes of making money. So that's why it's going to be taking quite a bit of time in between these various parts. Okay, a couple things I need to mention first off. I'm recording in 60 frames per second, which I only mention just because it means that, say, if I'm going down the elevator that's down here, or I'm going down the elevator that's over there, then ever so often I might fall through into nothing. You know, into the abyss, or into video game hell. You know, whatever. Something like that. The one over there, by the way. But other than that, should be okay. And of course, you won't see the 60 frames per second anyway, so why am I even demonstrating this? Who gives a shit? Second thing, before we talk to Crestfallen here. Second thing is, you may have noticed that the audio is a little bit better on these Dark Souls playthrough parts. It is because I got a new microphone, and I got a new preamp, and all sorts of wonderful little things, in addition to the new computer. Thank you, Patreon, very much. So, this will sound better, but at the same time, hear this? All that clicking, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. I tried to make absolutely certain in the very first part that you couldn't hear that much of it. But more on that later, I guess. Let's just talk to our asshole friend here.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the Undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the Undead Asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the Undead Church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
Nice lip syncing. Okay, we've actually already seen the first Bell of Awakening, and that was in the opening cutscene. I don't think I can actually get a good angle on it here. But it's right up there. Right where you can't see it. Thank you, video game. It is, of course, in the, kind of the Undead City area, I guess, whatever. It's not the parish, but... it is the parish, but the Burg, the greater Burg, in other words. And the second is in Blight Town, which actually is right over there. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a better thing. One thing you'll notice immediately if you've been playing Dark Souls 2 is how slow running is. I love this. You may think the inverse. No. The thing that makes Dark Souls good is the fact that movements and decisions have to be very planned out in advance. This is Blight Town that we're looking at right here. You may have never, if you play through the game, you may have never actually thought about it, but you can see a lot of shit going on in the kind of just this first area. Like, of course, up there is the Undead Burg. Hello, gigantic crow raven. I still haven't quite figured that out yet. It's probably racist against crows and ravens, but fuck those guys. And I forget what that is exactly. Actually, that's the Hellkite Bridge over there that overlooks nothing. I'm going to fall off, I'm not careful. And of course, this is Blight Town, and that is one of the great arch trees that you saw in the opening that actually were pretty much all burned to the ground. And one thing that's interesting, I will point out immediately, this is supposed to be a grand revelation later, but is that if you go down this tree, then you will eventually go through the ground and come out into an area that overlooks a sky. So this is sort of a Norse Midgard, Asgard sort of thing, and that the ground that we're actually standing on, in some ways, does not actually exist. Pretty unusual. The world that we live in actually is constructed above the Grey Lands, the ancient lands that the dragons used to hold dear. Okay, just wanted to show you guys that.
What?
Oh, you fucking bet. I can't get enough of this shit.
Oh, that's all we need.
As I grind my axe into your crotch.
Well,
He
listen
loves it, though.
carefully then. One of the bells is up above in the Undead
Look at that face of
church,
indifference.
But the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the Undead Burg through the waterway. The other bell is back down below the Undead Burg, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
Hilarious. You're truly a jokester. This is obviously just tutorial guy. He doesn't really have much of a backstory, but you really get the gist of what his personality is. Like, he's someone that is kind of covering up the fact that he is kind of given up on all of his own motivations, and is covering it up with this sort of guise.
Bloody hell, what is it now? You ask too many questions.
You're probably right. But for the sake of it, let's go down and speak to Anastasia. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to forget a lot of things. No response. She cannot speak. But you notice that she is here, and of course I will point out the tired refrain of, look at her skirt is covered in blood because her legs have been kind of broken and shattered. Don't ask me, has she not cleaned it up after all this time? But anyways, yes, she can't talk, and her legs have been mangled, and she cannot move, basically. And kind of the odd thing is that if she were to die completely, that is, be kind of killed and then resurrected at a bonfire, which actually she is the source of our own bonfire up here. That's what's being powered. She is basically the battery of that bonfire up there. Then she would be resurrected, and then she would be fine. She would regenerate her tongue, she would regenerate her legs. All of her injuries would be kind of nullified. Let's see, what else do I need to mention here? But that's about it as far as things that we need to take care of in Firelink, other than picking up a bunch of shit. Now, I hope you enjoyed looking at my human face, because I'm not going to stay human for very long. Because I am most certainly going to die very terribly as soon as I go into this cemetery. It's been quite some time, as I said before, since I've actually played 6 Firebombs. So I'm going to be a bit rusty on my old routing. Yeah, let's go talk to this dumbass up here. And his silly-ass Japanese haircut.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Firelink. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
You can tell that this was written for whenever his party shows up. And this was just something that they probably added in later, that they don't show up automatically. That's why he refers to them as us. He's not being...
Hello
he's
there.
not doing a
I
royal
realize
us thing.
that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this. As a
Just shove it
token
right
of
in my mouth,
peace.
come on.
No, go ahead. It's
Human
for you.
pester, give it to me. Oh yeah, copper coin. Oh yeah, it tastes good.
Oh my. You
Give me
are
another
fine.
copper coin.
Oh, I know.
I'm poor.
How about this? I have
Patreon
to
hasn't been
overlook my
invented yet.
companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
No, it would not.
That is a shame. But each to their own. Speak to me if you have a change of heart.
I don't learn miracles from people that dress funny. Look at this. This is actually sort of historically accurate in some ways. But it's so silly looking. This is one of those things that actually would look better in real life. Usually in video games, things always look better. But in real life, it probably looks okay too. Let's roll through the guys. Yay! Okay. I had to give myself a moment of clarity, moment of sanity. Okay, Petrus, of course, going to be a bit of an asshole. He really is. We don't have much use for him. I'm not going to join the Way of the whatever covenant. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot that you have to jump by hitting B again. Which is something they've never quite gotten right. And I've trapped myself inside this tiny room. It's fine, I can probably... There we go. I never actually jumped on that before. You can probably go through that window, though. This is interesting. But it all leads to the same place I'm going to be going anyways. Anyways, yeah, Petrus is here with his company of other dumbasses, actually. Every single one of the people that he has in his company is an idiot. There we go. And once they all get here, then we're probably going to end up killing every single one of them. Which is going to be a very common refrain for me. I'm going to be killing a lot of my friends. Correct red eye orb. And I'm going to go through and read some of the item descriptions, a lot of these, once I get through opening all of it. Homeward Bone. You might want to switch out... This does less damage, but since it is a striking weapon, whatever it's called in this game, a blunt instrument, in other words, it is going to be good for smashing bones, which is going to come up very quickly. And one last thing, Lloyd's Talisman. Okay, let's go in and look at the... how do you do it in this one? Okay, X, okay. Estus flask. The undead treasure these... What? Oh, the the undead treasure these dull green flasks, which obviously this is not green. Fill with estus at bonfire fills health points. Whenever you empty this completely, once it runs out all the way to 0 instead of the 10 it's at now, then it will be green. Because it's right now it's full of estus, or whatever that is. It's fire juice. The estus flasks are linked to the fire keepers. The Dark Tales also make reference. An emerald flask from the keeper's soul. She lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. The idea is that these flasks are formed somehow. There's some method that creates these from the souls of the keepers. That is, people like Anastasia over there. And once they have done that, then you can start refilling it with their soul juice, I guess. I don't know. What do you people want from me? Obviously not doing a lot of damage to these guys. That was not a good idea. I'm going to have to concentrate. It's kind of difficult to deal with these guys at first. But I'm going to try to get through this little area and grab all the shit that's here. Don't want to get too greedy, though. Nope. These guys have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. They're not nice guys. There we go. Got both of them at the same time. This mace comes in handy because it gets a little bit of bonus damage against these guys. If you're using any other weapon, like the axe that we're using, it would technically have higher base damage, but it wouldn't work out particularly well. Let's go ahead and grab this one. Again, I'm a completionist. I must have everything. And I don't want to... I'm not going to shove them over the cliff. I know that you want it. I know how desperately you want it, but you're not going to give it. I've got to tease you just a little bit. What do I do with jumping? Yeah, okay. Notice all the little gravestones all over the place. A lot of them are overturned. A lot of them are still upright, but there's not really much explanation as to what exactly, or who exactly these... Damn it. Who exactly these, God damn. How many combos does he get? I don't remember them actually being able to do that much. This isn't Dark Souls 2. Need to stop trying to trade hits with everything. There are actually consequences to combat in this game. Unlike Dark Souls 2, it actually requires some degree of concentration. But that's fine. There isn't much lore explanation for these skeletons either. They're just skeletons. They are actually linked to Nito in some ways. His hangout is just over there, over the horizon. Right inside of the catacombs. And normally these skeletons are always linked to a necromancer. And it's not really explained what exactly the necromancers are. I assume that they're supposed to be human beings that actually have made some sort of pact with Nito himself that has enabled them to resurrect these skeletons. These skeletons originally did not drop souls, and that was for a obvious lore reason. They didn't drop souls because they had no souls to give, because they were just skeletons. Alright, come on. Bring it. Bring it, skeleton man. There we go. Okay, that's what I want to do. See you over there? No. But there isn't much lore explanation of what exactly these guys are. Other than... Oh, there we go. First death. I told you it wouldn't actually last that long. That's what I get for doing it this way. Okay, but I wanted to get that out of the way so that I could actually start goofing around. Alright, now here we go. This time I'm just going to make the run. But yeah, Nito is linked to those guys, and as I said in the first part, there is actually not a race that is extended from the Soul of Death, that is Nito's Lord Soul. In this game, anyways. In Dark Souls 2, there are the Funitos and the Melfinitos, which are the female equivalents of those. But in this game, nothing at all. And of course, the gods, human beings, us, and the witches, or demons. Okay, let's try to get these binoculars that I probably won't even be using. And escape! 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 Okay, there we go. Just a little bit more. I'm going to make a second trip. Woo! Nope, nope, nope. Keep on rolling. Rolling solves every problem that there ever was. Actually, I don't really care for rolling in this game. Or any of the Souls games, for that matter. These guys will chase you for quite some distance. So just keep running. Never stop running. Never look behind you. There's nothing for you there. Just keep on running. Because every problem in life can be solved by just running away from it and not confronting it. That's what Plague says. Reset, and I'm going to go back and grab the Zwei that I'm sure everyone is just aching to get. Even though I won't be able to use it for quite some time. Okay, one thing I will also mention is I tried several times to get that first part just absolutely perfect. Wanted to make sure that it was a good first impression. So I actually restarted that game several times. Just trying to make sure the commentary was just right. And I also made sure that the audio was edited in a way that was, I considered to be perfect. Concentrate just a little bit. Pluck this Y-hander right at this guy's butthole. It isn't any coincidence that this Y seemed to apparently belong to the guy with the biggest gravestone. By the way, you notice these guys did not notice me. Just, come on, I hit rolled just in time. That these guys didn't notice because I ran past them before they actually hinged onto me. And one last reset. These guys actually will follow you quite some distance. I've actually had them follow me all the way back to the bonfire before. I wonder if you'll actually... A couple times I've seen them actually jump over, hurtle over the wall trying to get me. Those skeletons are voracious. Makes you wonder exactly what they used to be. Were they humans at some point? Were they undead? I don't know if they used to be undead. There are no rules for that sort of thing, but you would think that they would be humans. For game purposes, they made them drop souls because they didn't want you going through an entire area and not being able to level up. Especially whenever it was the optional first area of the game. They want you to go to the Undead Burg, but you can also just go this route and power your way through all these skeletons and fight your way close to Nito before you get to the Gold Fog. And that's it for all this area. Finally got my binoculars that I don't need, got my Zweihander. And just gotta make my route through here and grab all the shit up here, just to be safe. Need the... let's see, is there anything up here that I actually need to explain? Yes, there's a few things. Soul of the Lost Undead. First I'll explain, of course, that this is eventually going to open up. You'll see that later. And that's where we're going to drop down into the glorious abyss. Hello, Ghost. And also, of course, this statue in the back. Used to be where you would actually access the Lord Vessel later in the game. What's his face? Gwen's firstborn son. That idea was dropped. But what's his face? Oh, I can't even remember his name. It's been so long. But the smith in the Undead Burg, the one that looks exactly like Gwen, in other words, was supposed to push this back eventually for you. And that would enable you to have access to the Lord Vessel. Instead, they dropped that idea, and Gwen's firstborn son never actually makes an appearance in this game. And of course, I know, you want more on Solaire, but I'm not going to go into it just yet. This is in case there are any... How did this work? If in case there was anything major that you were supposed to pick up that you lost or you dropped or something like that. Any sort of story-specific elements that you really need. If you fail to get them, then that's where they'll be, inside that chest. Let's see if you have anything else.
Your face, you're practically...
I know, it only took like 5 minutes.
I don't know. Going hollow could solve quite
It
a bit.
has. Now I don't have to worry about failing on camera anymore. It's almost as though I planned it.
Well, there are a few
I didn't
ways to go
actually
about it.
see that.
Collected bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned. And the quickest way, although I never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
This system is a little bit clearer in Dark Souls 2, where you do it automatically, but basically everything is driven by humanity. Actually, let's take a look at that real fast. Actually, let's take a look at everything. Cracked Red Eye Orb. Use these to invade other people. Defeat the Master of the World you have invaded to acquire humanity, which he does explain. The Cracked Red Eye Orb allows players to temporarily imitate this ability, normally limited to the dark race of Kaith, or Kath, or however you pronounce it. We'll probably be meeting him much later on, but yeah, as far as Dark Souls 1 is concerned, the only people that can actually invade other worlds are people that belong to the Covenant that Covenant. They're servants of Kaith. Like, he enables them to do this. The crossover between worlds to kill people and take their humanity. And the only people that can do this other than those are people that actually have these cracked red eye orbs. Which red eye orbs themselves are something they're given as a Covenant item, and this is implied that they were destroyed and you're using this as a consumable item. So like, it has just enough power for one last trip. Black Separation Crystal, this is something you get intrinsically. Everyone has it. This black crystal along the similar guys will listen to other codes and send you back to yours. Beware of fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relations. It's really a vague thing, but this basically, if you're inside someone else's world and you want to leave, that's what you do. Or if someone is in your world and you don't want them to be there anymore, you send them away with this, excluding people that invade by red eye orbs. Biscorn filled with black powder explodes, inflicting fire damage, relatively powerful ranged weapon, especially in situations calling for fire damage. Of course, again, this is something, the black firebomb is something you would use if you wanted to kill that demon, as I was saying earlier in part 1. Very precious item at low levels. It really is pretty useful. Lord's Talisman. This is something you'll be using on mimics to get them to go to sleep. So kind of interesting from a lore standpoint. Talisman utilized by all Father Lords Cleric Knights to hunt down the Undead. Blocks estus recovery within a limited area. So that's this other thing. And I will point out that if the function of these Lord's Talismans is that it blocks the recovery of estus, then why do they work on mimics? That seems to imply that the mimics themselves are also linked somehow with the souls of the Fire Maidens. In the outside world, the undead are cursed creatures, and Lords Cleric Knights are widely praised for their undead hunts. This blessed talisman blocks undead recovery, allowing the knights to fight with impunity. And the rest of these bone fragments, use these to teleport back to the bonfires. In rare cases, a strong urge of their previous owners to sink bonfires and chance their bones with a homeward instinct. The idea with this is that and the homeward miracle, you're supposed to be returning home. Normally, people use the homeward miracle as a way to return to their home nation. But in this case, it is interesting in that if you are undead, instead of returning to your home nation, you instead return to the flame. An interesting distinction as far as lore goes. And lastly, of course, humanity. Rare tiny black sprites found on corpses. This is actually a fragment of the Dark Soul. Everyone has one of these inside of them. This is effectively a human soul that we're looking at. Used to gain 1 humanity and restore a large amount of health points. That was a bad idea, by the way, giving it the ability to restore health points. This black sprite is called humanity, but little is known about its true nature. If the soul is the source of all life, then what distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? It says this because the souls that you get from things, like these are just generic souls. It's just power. You gain power from something whenever you kill it. But this is something special. This is sort of... I imagine it's just a video game thing. They don't really care. But there is a distinction between the souls that you gain and humanity itself. Later on, whenever we get Anastasia to get her tongue back, I will mention that she says that if you can lift the undead curse, then she will finally be allowed to die as a human being. I only mention that because while we're talking about the undead, that doesn't really make any sense as a system. Because think of it this way. If she says that I can finally die as a human being, then, you know, if it wouldn't really help her. You know, if we're lifting the I'll put it to you this way. This is the whole point of the game. Like, she kind of reflects the whole point of this game. And that we are trying to lift the undead curse. We're trying to find a way to die. And she believes in this. She believes in Lord Gwyn. She believes in relinking the fire and trying to find a way to restore humanity to what it should be. Which is interesting for her character for more reasons we'll get into later. But even if we do lift the curse, then that may not actually help her. Because it's not clear exactly how far this raises this, by the way. It's not clear exactly how far the curse goes, like how it functions, just yet. The band on this thing is way too big for my head. I wanted to come down here for a moment to show you... Trigger, damn it. Oh well. Wonder if I can make this jump. Or maybe I'll just won't jump at all. Thank you a whole lot, gang. The jumping mechanics in these games have always been absolutely dreadful. In this one, you have to run and then press B, which is the same exact button, which doesn't work particularly well. And in Dark Souls 2, you have to run and press in on the stick, which is an option, or you can also set it to these controls, New Londo Ruins. And that will enable you to jump that way. I wish they would just have a jump button, because it's awkward either way, and it's never really functioned quite well. This is the estus. I will go ahead and go through the weapons. Hopefully I'll get a lot of these out of the way in these first few parts. Morningstar. Hammer with a sharp spike on his pommel. I never noticed it. Actually has a spike on it. I'll look at that later. One of the more barbaric cleric weapons. Uniquely, this hammer... It's not really a hammer. A hammer inflicts thrust damage, which does not make any sense. God damn it, video game. I'm going to be having a lot of... I don't know, just... asshole-ish, you know, nitpicky things about real-life weapons. Winged Spear, a long-hilted spear with a barbed point. Long reach can be used with shield up. That's one of the core functions of the game, is that if you have a spear, you can use it from behind a shield at the same time. Effective against hard exteriors and hits for high damage at the right moment of an enemy's swing. So it has high counter damage. But actually, I don't even think this game has counter damage. Oh well, we'll worry about that later. But the hit radius is small and is easily blocked by shields. Not really any lore information with this. Any of these... Medium for casting Miracles of the Gods. That's going to be more important later on. Round wooden shield crafted in Lordron. So this is actually made here. Decorated. So, I will mention that since we found this in the graveyard, this is where we picked this up, then it suggested that the people that are buried in that graveyard are from Lordron itself. They're not people that have been brought here. So they're not undead. So those skeletons are hinted to not actually be undead. They're hinted to be just dead humans. And their skeletons have been repurposed as weapons. Decorated by an ancient blue caducus, is that how you say that? The giant trees in Lordron are distant offspring of the great stone arch trees. So, that one arch tree, I believe that's an arch tree. Actually, I know for a fact it is an arch tree, but we've also seen other giant trees, but that's what those are. Distant offspring. This shield inherits their properties, and the wood greatly reduces magic damage. It says that, but it's actually pretty worthless as a weapon. Okay, this is the one that we started with. Better than one in his hands. Zweihander. I'm sure everyone's... I won't be using this, but, you know, just for the sake of acknowledging our great Lord and Savior. As the name suggests, the Zweihander is held with two hands, which is unusual. This is a German name. I'm sure people are going to be nitpicking how I'm pronouncing Zweihander. But, kind of one of the weird things about Dark Souls is that they use world names, like the Lucerne or things like that. It's held with two hands, but its wielder must be inhumanly strong. It is this great weight that sends follows flying when hit solidly. Oh, I need a drink. Ah! But one of the things I'm going to be complaining about in this game is that weapons actually aren't that heavy in real life. Things are only about, 3 pounds up to about 6 pounds or 9 pounds or things like that, at most. But actually, I go ahead and... Even though I don't have the requirements to be able to use this correctly... Go ahead so I don't hit any of my precious hollow friends up here. But I don't have the requirements, so this is slower than it actually should be. But you can tell just how heavy they mean for this weapon to be in-game. Like how heavy it is implied to actually be. This is not the case. in real life. A Zweihander, any sort of two-handed weapon, is not actually going to be that heavy. It wouldn't be that hard to swing. It would, of course, require a great amount of skill just to be able to use it. But it wouldn't actually be that heavy. Estus, one of my favorite weapons in real life, actually. The largest of the thrusting swords can pierce an armor knight in one thrust. The blade is also sharp, allowing slicing as well. In real life, this was sort of it had a diamond sort of shape. I don't know if you can really see it at this angle. But it's actually in sort of a diamond-shaped blade. It's a very thick blade. It's not like a normal sword. It doesn't have, like, a flat, sharpened edge exactly. It's made for piercing armor. This is actually an anti-armor weapon, which is why it's a thrusting weapon like this. It actually wasn't quite this long, though. This is kind of ridiculously big. Most of the Dark Souls weapons like this are ridiculously big. And since I've already did, I guess I will make this run over here. But first, let's go back and switch to my battle axe. Don't need the damage from, the... Whoop, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Maybe I can parry him. Okay. I don't want to hurt you, buddy. Don't want to hurt you, buddy. Just want to get away. Never stop running. Never stop running. But I want this over there. He's going to follow me, isn't he? He's going to follow me. And he killed himself! You all saw it! I had no responsibility in that. But I want to clear all this out. This automatically, Dark Souls 1, it adds everything automatically to your bar, which is kind of annoying. Go ahead and switch to this. I might be able to get away. I only have 2,500 souls, so it's not like I'm losing that much. But we want to get over to that, and I'm most certainly going to get to it, and I'm going to pick it up. But I am also probably going to die in the process. Going to need to concentrate a bit for this. One of the very early game runs, you're not supposed to be doing this right now. Okay, let's see if I can, yes, go, 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 go. Ha-ha! Take that, you filthy, filthy ghost sluts. I don't know. That was disrespectful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ghost sluts. I don't know what your sexual preferences are. Anyways, yeah, I don't need you anymore. And we just got, what we got was, let's see, is it even in here? Here we go. Okay. This is what we got. Firekeeper Soul. Soul of a long-lost Firekeeper. Each Firekeeper is a corporeal manifestation of her bonfire, and a draw for the humanity which is offered to her. Her soul is gnawed by infinite humanity, and can boost the power of precious estus flasks. It can be used to gain humanity and to keep health points at the cost of losing Firekeeper Soul to reinforce the estus flask. Now you can use this as a consumable item, or you can just give it to the little lady over here, and she can reinforce your estus flask. Permanently. Use Firekeeper Soul to reinforce estus flask? Yes. And nothing special happens. It just kind of does that. Now we heal for just a little bit more now, from now on. But I wanted to pick it up mainly as a demonstration to, or not a demonstration, but just to make it clear. Actually, I want to go back down. Just to point out that there is a link between the fire, humanity, the dark soul, Gwen's soul, just all sorts of things. That everything ultimately is kind of the same. Like all the souls are linked by the Great Flame. And the Great Flame is just supposed to be the source of any sort of schism. This is a very Asian story. In that it's about light and dark, it's about balance, it's about things having one aspect to meet the aspect of another one. That if there is good, there must be evil, if there is light, there must also be dark, that sort of thing. Very fucking Asian, which kind of gets on my nerves in Dark Souls 2. That's for goddamn sure. Get really tired of it. By the way, I'll point out these little, can't really see them, the statues down here. Don't really know what they're for. Might just be a generic art asset, but this sort of motherly figure does show up from time to time throughout the game. Pretty unusual. Okay, there's nothing in you, is there? Okay, it's been a while, just want to make sure. Let's go down here into Blighttown. But anyways, yeah, there is a link between light and dark. There is a link between humanity... Oh, wait. I forget about him. Look at this fucking hollow. Look how fucking baller this hollow is. Pimpin'. Fucking pimpin'. What's he even looking at? I know he seems to really be enjoying himself. I bet the developer that put him there was like, yeah, fucking yeah. And that's all he said all day long.
Hmm? Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head. And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry. I'm Rickert of Vinheim. I was once an established smith. Look at me now. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can. So this is Rickert. I always forget about him because I don't give a shit about him, because the only thing he's good for is a certain weapon upgrade path that is linked to sorceries, and I don't play filthy mages.
Hmm? What is it? Have you? Oh no. Don't worry. I've no intention of escape. It's safe here. Can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, I've not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what made me the best in Vinheim.
So he is a smith, a very bored one, in fact. I don't even know how he got in there. It's never really explained. Do you have anything else to say?
What is it? There's nothing.
There really
to talk
isn't?
about.
Okay.
We're both cursed, undead. But what's there really to moan about?
This is FromSoft basically saying, you know what, I'm just a video game person, just accept it. Just fucking accept it. But he is from Vinheim. Vinheim fucking loves sorceries. So obviously this is an evil nation. And he has nothing to do in there except for smithing. With absolutely nothing. There's no anvil, there's nothing. So don't ask me what the hell he's doing in there. Why is there so much pornography in there? Oh my god, is that what you've been doing? What a monster. But anyways, yeah, you can ascend weapons here and do the generic things. Buy magic. Buy filthy-ass magic that I won't be getting.
Come back soon.
Burn in hell, you
Smithing
filthy
helps
mage.
soothe my nerves. Don't let me
Bet it
wither
did.
away out of idleness.
Disgusting. Absolutely revolting. So he's there. I hope he dies alone and destitute. But I wanted to go up here and die here as well. Because it's not enough to die in one part, and die just once in one part. I've got to do it multiple times. Got to do it multiple times, kids. Always make sure that your partner is satisfied. Okay, but let's head across this precarious bridge. And this is the rear entrance to Blighttown. You will notice that I was able to open that with the master key. If you don't have the master key, then you can't come this way until much later on in the game. Really like that about these games. The fact that they're open-ended like this. Too many games are quote-unquote open-ended, but you... Like, I was replaying Ocarina of Time recently, and I kept trying to go to, like, after you become an adult, I was trying to go to, like, the Water Temple and things like that, in the Temple of Time, or not the Temple of Time, but the stupid sand one. And you can't do that because it tries to force you into one path or the other. By the way, speaking of paths, did you know you could go up here? Yeah, I bet you didn't know that, did you? Unfortunately, it doesn't lead anywhere. It's completely pointless. Wasn't that interesting? Okay, but this is an undead dragon. He will wake up and he will be none too happy that we've been picking up his loot. I am pointing this out. It doesn't really make any sense that he's undead. Because, again, what is the undead? Who becomes undead? Humans. Humans become undead because there is this link between Soul of a Proud Knight. Seems to imply that he killed a knight, and then apparently stripped him naked for some reason. Why did you do that, undead dragon? But, only humans can become undead. So the very idea that this guy even exists in the first place does not make any sense within the story itself, the universe. But again, Dark Souls has lots of these things that if you think about it too much doesn't make any sense. Just don't think about it too much. Now, which one of these can I pick up before he wakes up? I think it might be this one. But either way, he's going to be very mad. Oh, it was that one. Okay. It's that one that I cannot pick up. Hope he doesn't wake up whenever I'm looking at this stuff. Astora's Straight Sword. Straight Sword of an unknown knight. Likely one of Astora's superiors. So this actually is not Astora's Straight Sword. It's Astora's friend's Straight Sword. High quality weapon with a powerful blessing. I don't remember what the blessing is, and I don't really care. Because again, this playthrough is not about things like that. Okay, now... This guy... You know, I'm going to leave that for now. Because if I pick it up, he's going to be really pissed off, and I can't kill him yet because I don't have the damage output and I don't have enough arrows for it to be more to the point. So instead I will go down here, because there are much better things to kill me down here. These fucking things. God, I hate these things. Ugh, fucking dragons. It's always dragons, too. You know, the most cowardly thing in fantasy is a fucking dragon. Ow! Ow! Bitch! Yep. That does it. These things are not exactly fair. And what I was trying to do is a Dark Souls 2 habit of running and then trying to roll. But I keep forgetting I can't do that in Dark Souls 1. And that's the reason why they made that change. I'll explain it more in it. Here. Like, say, I'm running. I'm running because I'm trying to get away from something. And then I decide, you know, I need to dodge. If you're not running, you can dodge. But if you're running, then you jump. You can't dodge while running. But in Dark Souls 2, you can, because they, of course, fixed that. But in Dark Souls 1, it's a big pain in the ass. It means that if you are trying to get away from something, then you need to make sure that you're not running at the same time. Or else things are not going to work out too well for you. I wanted to get through the Valley of the Drakes just enough to try to clip the end of this little episode here. Not going to do too much. This has not really been that eventful of a part. But I wanted to at least get to the next area. So if I'm lucky and I concentrate, I might be able to get through this. I don't know. Let's see, is there anything else that I need to... I wrote down a bunch of little things. Oh, I was trying to say much earlier that I did this, the first part, several times over, and now, since this is not a game that you can save and reload, every single mistake that you make is immediately apparent because it auto-saves, that I don't have that luxury anymore. So that first part is pretty much perfect. Really, I actually was really pleased with it. This part 2, not so much. And any part after that, not so much. Nope, not so much at all. If he wakes up, you can use this to try to circumvent him. That's what that's for. As soon as I get past that guy, I need to turn a corner and go in and grab that humanity, which a lot of people don't know exists. But another thing is that I usually try to not record unless I am in a good mood. And I am not often in a good mood, because I'm just not a very happy person in general. And you can kind of sneak up on him. But it doesn't work for very long. But I usually try to... Yeah, there he goes. Didn't work. Wow, that didn't go well at all. That's why I don't like going this way. You know what? I think I'm just not gonna go this way. I was going to point out that the corpse over there is, of me. It's, another bandit. That's where you pick up the bandit armor if you did not start as a bandit. And, is there anything else I want to... No, there's nothing else down there that I really care that much about. Let's go ahead and head our way up here. There's one more. No, I already picked that up. That's right. Or the thing I was up... Ah, forget it. Train of thought. Yeah, I have to be in a good mood to be able to record. And I'm usually not in a good mood. Okay, and I probably should be using my shield. But since I've been playing so much Dark Souls 2, where having a shield is actually kind of detrimental, I have kind of gotten way out of habit with that. Damn it. Trying to practice my parrying. I was never particularly good with parrying in these games. I mean, I'm okay, I'm just not like an expert in it or anything like that. But I figure I will take the direct route. I was kind of thinking about which route to take, like maybe I should go through the Valley of the Drakes and come out on the other side. But I decided, you know what, it's not really that important that I get overly elaborate with my routes. I usually don't go that route anyways, because this, going up here in the Undead Burg, is actually my favorite part of the game. I have no idea why. You didn't come down? Good. If you get a little bit too close, he'll come down. No. Naughty Hollow. At least he didn't start throwing firebombs at me at point-blank range, which he's wont to do. You can actually parry this. He will sometimes do a jumping attack, and you can actually parry him in mid-air. It's really weird. I've done it once before. Wonder if... Ah! Almost. Too late on it. Oh, well. I've only gotten it to happen once, and it was so strange. He jumped from up here, and I parried him, and then he went into a repostable state as he landed, but he also fell down. Really strange, kind of buggy looking thing. Anyways, let's go. Is this... How come... Where are they keeping these? It is kind of lingering off of his... I wonder, I'll keep a lookout on that. Because sometimes, whenever you find a corpse, I'm wondering if they're always positioned over their... kind of their cores. Their backs and their torsos. Because it might be implying that the... Wow, he actually attacked. Usually, these rats are scripted to try to run away from you as soon as they see you. At least this one is. He very rarely just outright attacks you. I haven't been very lucky this part, that's for damn sure. We will be unlocking that gate later. And this itself is supposed to be an aqueduct. So this is kind of just poo water. It's poo water. And as an aqueduct, well, no one's pooing these days, that's for damn sure. So this is probably nothing. But like all aqueducts, in order for them to work correctly, they have to be very slightly slanted. So this is actually running up or down. Is it running up or down? Is coming or going from... Are you going to come over here? Yeah, alright, hold on. What I'm talking about is stupid anyways. But that's a luxury of mine. I get to talk about stupid shit. But it runs into this wall that kind of goes nowhere. I don't know. Maybe it's coming... It's probably leading out from Lordran, and it's actually bringing water into the city. So that's probably what that is for. That's actually kind of interesting. I think you can actually make that jump over there. I wonder if I can do it. I'll try it once. No, I cannot. I know you can make that jump, though. But I'm not practiced at it. Don't really care. Don't like backstabs. But I'll show it off. A lot of things in this game are kind of solved with backstabbing. I knew it. I knew he would fucking do that. I didn't think he would be that fast, but... A lot of enemies in this game are kind of trivialized by the existence of backstabbing. I don't think they really thought about it too. I might as well go ahead and heal. You'll notice one thing in this game, unlike Dark Souls 2, it is sort of designed so that you heal for slightly more than half your health, but you don't have much health to begin with. Oh, he saw me. He's going to come up here. Let's watch him. But it's designed that way so that you will be tempted to not bother healing, to save just a little bit, and that gets you into a lot of trouble. In Dark Souls 2, you heal for a little bit under, and you have a lot of health to work with, which kind of ruins that. Oh, he's coming a long way for this ass-kicking that I'm about to give him. I'm going to go two-handed on him. What if I can catch him as he's... Nah, you're supposed to do a jumping attack. Well, that wasn't very elegant at all. Speaking of elegance, Miyazaki infamously, in his radio interview that everyone always references, spoke about how he had a conversation with the guy that... This is a weird-looking window. With the guy that designed that dragon. And, of course, originally he designed it like a typical video game idiot designer. He designed it with a lot of maggots writhing out of it and, you know, just... Oh, it's so undead. Ooh, look how cool it is. And Miyazaki, rather infamously, crumpled up the sheet of paper, punched him in the face, and then suplexed him over a table. Well, he did something like that. He gave it back to him and said, no, this is really... By the way, what the fuck? This is blocked off. Seems to be boarded up. I don't know. I think this is a reused model, so they probably just laid somewhere that they're like, we don't need it. So they just put that board model over it or something. But Miyazaki told him, no, everything in this game should have a degree of elegance behind it. It should be... I forgot what his exact words were, but it was... The gist of it was that the dragon should look like something that used to be noble and was meant to be feared and respected. And that whenever you look at this undead dragon, you should get the impression that something has actually been lost. Like something... of great worth. That sort of natural beauty has been lost to the world, and it should be something that's sort of sad to look upon. And everything in... As far as the art direction of this game, you can sort of tell that that is a recurring theme. That everything in this game should be something that is dark, it is kind of dreary and depressing, but there should be a degree of beauty behind everything. That even something that is ugly is something that is... special. Okay, and there's nothing in here just yet. We want to get up here, though. And I guess I'm kind of approaching 1 hour. I kind of wanted... I don't know. I'm not sure if I should take these parts to 1 hour or try to keep them around 30 minutes or so. You guys make that determination on your own. But you can't make this jump no matter how many times you try, so don't bother trying. Another thing I'll mention, 60 frames per second. If you have 60 frames per second, the guy landing here tends to kill you. So let's see if I die. Didn't work that. Okay, good. But that is the Hellkite. He's called the Hellkite Drake, but that's actually a wyvern. Because, oh, I'm not going to explain all that. Just look it up. There's a difference between drakes and wyverns and dragons. And there's a few other ones as well. Circle, strafe, backstab, solve every problem. I love this area, though. There's just something... By the way, the reason why I'm going to stop here is because I'm going to grind whenever I get here. And that is not for the purpose of this playthrough. I just love doing it. Here, specifically. I don't know why. I do it every single playthrough. To me, the little area, this kind of one little zone to me, is the most fun that I have in the whole game. Which, I don't know, it's not really meant as a slight to the game itself. I just have a lot of fun just going through this route, killing these guys for no good damn reason. It's just a lot of fun to me. These guys are a bit of a problem, because they have shields. If you attack them, they just do that. Usually if you attack them, they'll attack back right away. Easiest thing to do, kick them. That opens them up. One more time. So if they're raising their shield, that actually breaks their guard. That doesn't... And they heal. That's one of the... Actually, I think this is the first enemy that you encounter that actually can do that. And... Normally you can sort of just... Don't really see them do that often. But see, if you... This is what I wanted to demonstrate. If you try to circle, strafe them, then it kind of works, but they... And you'll notice, unlike Dark Souls 2, where they kind of just auto-track and they just spin in place like a top, he actually moves his feet. There's an animation for it. And he's not quite fast enough. But you notice he's just fast enough that he can still keep his shield up. And in this game, it does make sense that there's a preference from side to side. Like, if you rotate left on some enemies, it's more beneficial than rotating right, because they're attacking from one hand or the other, or the source of the problem, in this case the shield, is on one side or the other. So, for him, if you were going to rotate, then you would rotate to the right side. Just wanted to point that out. I'm sure a lot of people were irritated watching me do shit like that, but I have a lot of fun thinking about things like that. Jumping attack! I really enjoy the, by the way, you do this by hitting up and R2 at the same time. And up and L2 at the same time does nothing! It just parries like it always does. And up and R1 does the kick attack. Just to explain. Alright, here's our good buddy, the Undead Butthole.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale. Okay, let's talk to him just a bit.
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave.
I just love the way horrible, horrible. I don't know. I already. Forget it. This is something that probably I'll only find funny. I'll go ahead and pick this up. Why not? Orange soapstone. I really don't need anything else. I'm not a big item person. One of the reasons why I farm early is to pick up all this stuff already. Even though really it's better to just go and do things the hard way for, like an hour. And then you'll have more than enough to get all this stuff. I just like farming. I really like doing it. Actually, I'm a big anti-farming person. But for some reason, just ever so often, there's a game that sort of, I don't really mind it. And Dark Souls 1 is one of those. Dark Souls 2, farming got way out of hand. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really care for that game. I kind of got sick of it because of that. A lot of these, I'm not going to go through and read off every single one of these, but you get the gist. If you want a good parrying weapon early on, just pick up a buckler or something like that. It'd be good if you're going down to see Havel and pay him a visit. And, of course, I guess I will... Later, you'll see later that I have picked up some arrows next part. And I am a completionist, so I eventually will try to get things like this. I will never use them. But I must have everything. This is just the kind of person I am.
Thank you kindly.
Yes. Okay. I wonder if I can get him to... I forget how exactly you get him to stand up. I don't know. I don't want to hurt him, though.
Oh, you
More
again. I hope you
plenty
brought
of
plenty.
But anyways... Wasted.
What a waste to go and fall off a cliff.
I like this guy. And also, there's a bit of unique dialogue if you start up and...
Oh, you again. I hope
Yes,
you brought...
getting the pop up his little thing and just walk off.
Hey, what's the matter? What was that about? Oh, never mind.
One of those little minor... They do that in Dark Souls 2 too, but this is the first time I saw it, so I was always really impressed when I got that for the first time. Really scared the shit out of me.
Throw me a bone, will you? You haven't got much time anyway. Right, Yulia?
Yulia is his Uchigatana. Or it could be just some sort of bullshit that he thinks exists. Like, look at him. He's pitting something. So apparently he believes that something exists. And it seems to be the size of a small dog or a cat. So it's possible that in his former life, and I'm just making this up, that maybe he had a favorite animal. And now it's dead, of course. But as an undead, he doesn't seem to realize it, or he's convinced himself, and that it's still alive, and that's what's keeping him going. I don't know, it's really interesting to think about. One of those little role-playing things that you have to read into the game to gain anything from it. Anyways, I'll do one little route here, and then rest at the bonfire, and that'll be it for this part. These guys are dickholes. Come here, you fucking chodes. God, I hate these things. These are the weakest enemies in the game, but in many ways they're incredibly dangerous. Primarily because they have one or two attacks that kind of are a pain in the ass. Up. Yes. Okay. And this will lead up top, and I will mention that if you come up with a very specific roll, you can actually roll onto that ledge over there, and then jump off into the lower part of the Undead Burg. Which actually, this that you're seeing down there is the part with all the fucking dogs. God, I hate those fucking dogs. We'll be experiencing the joy of those guys much later. But anyways, some speedrunners will sometimes use that if they're doing a very specific kind of speedrun. Just wanted to briefly mention that. Throwing knives? Yes, throwing knives. Throwing knives are really just pulling weapons. What is this? What about it? There's nothing there. You can't get over there. This is one of those things. There's plenty of things in Dark Souls 1. They kind of look like you can get someplace. But this is not Assassin's Creed. You can't just... Anywhere that you look, you can get to... Uh-oh. Oh, that was close. Didn't make that jump quite good. One of the weird things about Dark Souls 1 is that while you are running, I guess... fine, I'll go do it, for God's sake. Whenever you're running, you'll notice... Oh, yeah, I forgot about this, too. For God's sake. My habit of wanting to pick up absolutely every single fucking thing is going to bat me in the ass. Wooden shield. I'm not going to show that off just yet. Probably nothing important in the item description anyways. I'm trying to rush because I'm running out of time. Wanted to keep this sub-hour. Run back over here. One of the odd things about running in Dark Souls 1 is, like, right now I'm not running. I'm just going straight. Perfectly straight. As soon as I start running, I start kind of wobbling unnoticeably, almost. But if you're actually controlling it, then you will tell immediately that there's a little bit of awkwardness in trying to maintain your direction as you're running. So if you're trying to run and jump, then it's a bit of a problem. God damn it. It's been a while since I've practiced doing that. There's nothing in there except for a crossbow, so fuck it. Fuck it. I'll show you that shit later. Because I will be grinding here, and I will be finishing everything off. Oh, god damn it, I forgot that I have to... There's stuff up there, too, that I need to show off. I just won't pick it up. How about that? Or I'll try not to. I'll get into the habit of it, and I'll probably pick it up anyways. And then you guys can get mad at me then. But anyways... Well, this was a nice part 2. Absolutely rife with miniature failures. But that's okay, that's okay. I forgot that you can bring up the emote menu if you're too close to a bonfire. Okay. Anyways, I will see you guys in part 3. Please don't stop watching or else I won't earn any money? No, that's not the case because I have Patreon. So if this one does not, if part 3 doesn't come up anytime soon, don't be too surprised or disappointed because I'm working. And actually there's going to be a Patreon Q&A video for you council and above members coming up where you can see a brief preview of the new animation and so forth. So look out for that as well for people that actually have access to it. Anyways, I will see you guys in part 3. See you guys later. I guess I'll wait one more time. No!